In exactly 1 month's time, on June 15th, the first Global Peace Summit will start in the Switzerland's town of Burgenstock. Western diplomats note that the event will be aimed not only at ending the war, but at reducing the risks associated with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and tightening the international isolation of the aggressor country.
Even if the core issue of peace is not discussed there now, but issues that are also part of it, that would be a great step. Thanks to such an event, further steps can also be taken. Olaf Scholz, Chancellor of Germany, at a panel discussion organized by the German editorial network.
More than 160 countries have received invitation to the summit. Sweden, Luxembourg, Canada, Denmark, the Netherlands, and a number of other countries have already announced that they will attend. But Kyiv is still waiting for confirmation from some of them.
We're talking purely about presence at the leadership level. That's what we are working on. We have also discussed the participation of the leader of the People's Republic of China, and there is also dialogue with India and other states of the Global South. The participation of South Africa, Saudi Arabia, and a number of other countries is important to us, as well as the participation of representatives of Latin America, the African continent, and the Asian region. Igor Zhovkva, deputy head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, on the air of Ukrainian National Telethon.
The Global Summit is the culmination of work of the Ukrainian Formula for Peace, a step-by-step plan proposed by Kyiv. It includes 10 points from radiation, nuclear, environmental and food security to restoring Ukraine's territorial integrity and the return of all prisoners. Experts believe that the success of the summit depends directly on the number of its participants.
Предполагается, что на этом саммите будет согласована общая позиция для дальнейших переговоров, и эта позиция будет
further negotiations, and this position will be passed on to Moscow. What pisses off and annoys the Kremlin? The fact that it will no longer be only the position of Ukraine, but it will be the position of part of the international community, and apparently a very significant part. At least several dozen countries may support this position, and Russia will no longer be able to say that we are in favor of peace, while rejecting not only Ukraine's proposal but also part of the international community.
Russia was not invited to the first summit. There is no point in putting Russia at the negotiating table if you cannot get it to act in good faith, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said. Once the position of the international community is consolidated, contacts with the Russian side will be necessary. Meanwhile, Moscow is publishing contradictory statements. For instance, Lavrov, the foreign minister of the aggressor country, speaks about the alleged readiness to conclude a peace agreement, but at the same time threatens the West with military escalation.
Москва хочет переговоров на своих условиях.
Moscow wants negotiations on its own terms, which are absolutely unacceptable for Ukraine. What are these conditions? The Kremlin wants Ukraine to give up its own army. Russia wants the Ukrainian army to be no more than 60 to 80,000 people, wants us to give up the prospect of NATO membership, wants to recognize the occupied territories of Ukraine as Russian, and so on. This is unacceptable to us, so negotiations on Russian terms are out of the question.
Any agreement with Moscow should imply the withdrawal of Russian troops from the entire territory of Ukraine. Former United States Deputy Secretary of State Victoria Nuland said the prospect of a peace summit should not relax Ukraine's allies. In order to bring Russia to real negotiations, the West should increase military aid to Kyiv, tighten the sanctions regime against the aggressor country, provide Ukraine with security guarantees, and then admit it to the North Atlantic Alliance. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Valeria Nekopelova, UATV News.